Dear students, we are moving to the next point, that is grave error of the East. From the early 19th century, many British officials began to criticize the Orientalist vision of learning. What they saying like that, our knowledge is not scientific like that. They said that knowledge of the East was full of errors, unscientific thought. Please underline what they were said about British people. What they said, the knowledge of the East means the Indian knowledge or even Arabic knowledge, that is full of errors. There is no correct version of the real knowledge. Second one, it is unscientific thought. Then Eastern literature on non-serious and light-hearted. So third comment, what they said, it is not at all serious and it is light-hearted. So they argued that it was wrong on the part of the British to spread so much effort in encouraging the study of Arabic and Sanskrit language and literature. So what they have done in last years, it is really a foolish thing only. This literature is not that much serious and it is very light like that, they said. Then James Mill was one of those who attacked the Orientalist. He was the very much critic about this Eastern education or Oriental education or Indian education. British effort, he declared, should not be to teach what the native wanted or what they respected. He said like that, what the native people wanted, that we should not teach, and we should not respect their need. Instead of that, in order to please them, win a place in their heart. For why they Johns and other people, they given more importance to Indian model of education to win the heart of the people. So we should not do like that. We want to get the maximum useful thing we want to teach. By that we want to gain maximum money. That was the argument of James Mill. So what he said, the aim of the education ought to be to teach what the useful and practical. So Indians should be more made familiar with the scientific and technical advances that the West had made, rather than with the poetry and sacred literature of the Oriental. Instead of teaching this poetry and other things, sacred things, what they want to teach, they want to teach the technology. By that, Indians become familiar with the scientific and technological knowledge or advancement of the Western countries or European countries. By 1830s, the attack on the Orientalists became sharper. One of the most outspoken and influential of such critic of the time was Thomas Babington Macaulay. He saw India as an uncivilized country that needed to be civilized. No branch of Eastern knowledge, according to him, could be compared to what England had produced. And who could declared Macaulay that a single shelf of a good European library was worth of the whole native literature of India and Arabia. So the Indian subcontinent plus Arabian countries together, what we made already, that is not equal to a single shelf of the good books of European library. He argued that the British government in India stopped wasting public money in promoting Oriental learning, for it was no practical use. So should not waste Europeans money for teaching the Oriental literacy again to the Indians. With a great energy and passion, Macaulay emphasized the need to teach English language. He felt that knowledge of English would allow Indians to read some of the finest literature of the world had produced. It would make them aware of development in the Western science and philosophy. Teaching of English would thus be a way of civilizing people, changing their taste, values, and culture. So, what Macaulay said, if you are teaching English, the Indians will come to know about the fine literature of the Western countries, or science and philosophy of the what happened, what is developing there in Europe, everything we will come to know. So what we want to teach? We want to teach English. By that we can civilize the people, we can change their taste, we can change their value system, even we can change the culture of Indians, like that who said? Macaulay said. Then following Macaulay's minutes, the English Education Act of 1835 was introduced. We want to see one more English Education Act, a little bit name change, but we want to see that in 1870. So two policies about education we want to see. First one, it is Macaulay's, according to Macaulay's opinion, they made one English Education Act of 1835 and it introduced. The decision was to make English as the medium of instruction in higher education and to stop the promoting the Oriental institutions like Calcutta Madrasa and Banaras Sanskrit College. These institutions were seen as a temple of darkness that were falling of themselves to decay. English textbook now began to produce for school. So Macaulay, what he said, we want to make the English books for them and want to stop the madrasa and Sanskrit College of Banaras, and they he said like that the institutions were seen, please underline, temple of darkness that were falling off themselves into decay. Next point, it is education for commerce. In 1854, the Court of Directors of East India Company in London sent an educational dispatch to the Governor General in India, issued by Charles Wood, the President of the Board of Control of the company. So, in which year they sent some education policy to India, that is in 1854, and who made it is Court of Directors of East India Company, and where they made it is in London, and to whom it sent that address to the Governor General in India, and who issued that one? Charles Wood. And who was Charles Wood? The President of Board of Control of the company. Then it has come to know known as Wood's Dispatch. Why? Because it's done by Charles Wood, outlining the educational policy that was to be followed in India. It emphasized once again the practical benefit of the system of European learning as opposed to Oriental knowledge. So the Wood's Dispatch also supported the Western knowledge only, Western knowledge only, not our Indian own knowledge. One of the practical use of the dispatch point to was economic. European learning is said would enable Indians to recognize the advantages that flow from expansion of trade and commerce, make them see the importance of developing the resources of the country. So by learning technology and other things, we will come to know the different resources of our country, and we will think about how we can develop that one. At the same time, we will think about the expansion of trade and commerce. Introducing them the European way of life would change their taste and desire. So want to give the information about the lifestyle of Europeans that will change the taste and desire of Indians and create a demand for English goods. What was their basic aim? They want to get maximum profit by giving English education. For Indians would begin to appreciate and buy things that were produced in Europe. Why? Because it was machine products. Wood's dispatch also argued that European learning would improve the moral character of Indians and it would make them truthful and honest, and thus supply the company with civil servants who would be trusted and dependent upon. So by giving English education, they thought like that they can make the civil servants for the company purpose. So by that they want to make the basic character or moral characters in Indians, like trustworthy or honesty, like the loyal to British company, like that. The literature of the East was not only full of grave errors, it also not instilled in people a sense of duty and a commitment to work in the our Indian literature. It is not giving a sense of dutifulness or commitment to our work, nor could develop the skills required for administration, how we should do the administration, the rulers, how they want to rule the area, or how we want to do the administration. That won't teach the Indian literature, like that who said Despatch said, Wood's Despatch. Following the 1854 Despatch, several measures were introduced by British. Education department of the government were set up to extend control over all matters of a system of university education. So because of the Despatch, what happened, they started to make many regulations in the area of education. They made a university education system, taken the special setup about the university education, and they extend their control over the education also. In 1857, while the Sipais rose in revolt in Meerut and Delhi, universities being established in Calcutta and Madras and Bombay. So, because of the Sipais mutiny, what happened? Three universities started by Europeans, that is one Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay University. Attempts were also made to bring about changes within the system of school education. The next step, they started to rethink about the school education also. Okay, by this we are stopping here. Read the text very clearly, text plus notes, and you have written your notes in your notebook also. Read everything, then complete the Google form and your written assignment also. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.